weren't planning any violence. All we ever talked about was our rights and gaining the same rights as everyone else had. Now, maybe they didn't like the way we talked about it, but we did, because sometimes we could get very demanding. But that's all we talked about, and I guess that was worthy of being watched.
The biggest time for change for us, the biggest, for me, I think, would have been the 60s and the 70s, because that really would have been when the Black United Front was established, Black Educators Association was going, or getting established, when you had people really stand up and start looking and seeing. And part of that was because Rocky Jones brought the Black Panthers here in '68 and scared the hell out of the rest of the country.
Burnley Rocky Jones was born and raised in Truro, Nova Scotia, and moved to Toronto as a young man. He was introduced to the Black Panther Party during the 1960s. He and his former wife, Joan Jones, met prominent members Stokely Carmichael and his wife Miriam at a writers' conference in Montreal. The couples had a lot in common. Rocky and Stokely shared a common political agenda, and both were activists in a movement to improve conditions for people of African descent in North America. The two couples became fast friends and spent plenty of time together in the years to come. Stokely became honorary prime minister of the Black Panther Party, and Rocky would become one of the most well-known leaders of the civil rights movement in Canada.
And that's how we got connected to the Panthers. We brought them home with us, and the city went crazy because he had a reputation. A motorcycle cop came to the door and said, "Would you like police protection?" And, we're thinking, well, you got to be out there all night. I guess so. Motorcycle cops don't patrol all night. So they patrolled around the block all night.
Their political agenda was primarily to improve conditions for blacks in the areas of employment, education, and housing. These were fundamental human rights that were automatically granted to Nova Scotians of European descent, but certainly not for people of African descent.
The people you met, the things you did, the issues you were involved with, that was all very exciting. Tell you what wasn't exciting is a bit of the aftermath of the main excitement was, people are afraid of us. And that's when the hurtful stuff comes in. That's when it really starts to hurt, is you've not really harmed anybody. You've hoped that you've made life for some a little better, a little easier, a little more accessible, and you can't get a job.
Rocky and Joan became the target of surveillance agencies such as the Halifax Police Department, RCMP, and even CSIS. The residential phone was tapped, and police sat outside their home, their only crime being the fight for equality.
I can never, ever remember being afraid. The interesting thing is now when I think back or I read back on some of those instances, I get a chill.
When I look at what my parents were doing that I wish we were doing now, there was that community ownership, whether it was education, community itself, the playgrounds, the housing, the care for the seniors. Those were all things that my mom and dad cared about and got involved in. They were instrumental in creating the Black United Front. They were instrumental in the Black Cultural Society. They were just instrumental. The Black Business Initiative. Things that exist today, my parents, believe it or not, had some hand in, whether good, bad, or not. They were part of a discussion that allowed this to happen.
The same things we were talking about then, we can talk about now, and they still mean things. It makes me sad, because sometimes I just think we wasted our time. If you work real hard, and there's certainly lots of people out there working now towards these same things, and you don't see significant changes, you have to doubt yourself. Did I work hard enough, or are the walls that are up, are they just too hard to penetrate?